Well, yeah, I think it is, man. It is. Let's deep down. Yes. It is too long.
Lulama. Lulam. Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor. Hello.
Good morning, honorable councillors. May we observe a moment of silence for contemplation of meditation and prayers just before we start with the business of the day. Thank you. I don't think that prayer got to where it was supposed to be. A lot of papers, cell phones, talking. May I confirm that we are 71 and we are good to go. Just on a few housekeeping rules. Please let your cell phones remain silent during the proceedings of the day. On our translation devices here, from Afrikaans to English is channel 2. From isiXhosa to English is channel 3. From Sesotho to English is channel 4. May I take this opportunity to acknowledge the Executive Mayor, Taten Tatisi, the Deputy Executive Mayor, Mathae Odili, the Council Whip, Taten Nikelo, the members of the mayoral committees, the chairpersons of Section 79 council committees, the chair of MPEG, the party whips and leaders, councillors in general, city manager, our heads of the departments, and our council secretariat, the media at large, and the community of Mangaung. You are therefore welcome to this extraordinary session of the City of Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality. This meeting is taking place consistent with a notice given in terms of the provisions of Section 29, subsection 1 of the Local Government Municipal Structures Act, Act number 117 of 1998, as amended, and in terms of Rule 5.1 of Council Standing Rules and Orders, as amended, that a special meeting of the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipal Council will be held in the council chambers, first floor, Bram Fischer building, Bloemfontein, on the specified date and time. We are therefore meeting here to fulfill those provisions in terms of item 20 of our agenda. Now may I proceed to agenda 21, applications for leave. That item has been dealt with administratively. You are welcome, Councillor Mungale. It has been dealt with administratively. I have indeed received a few apologies of councillors who will not be able to join us. Some will be able to join during the proceedings of the council. That concludes our item 21. May I now proceed to item 22, acceptance of the agenda. You will see that there's also a supplementary agenda. Together with the initial first set of documents. I now wish to draw attention to item 21, item 22, acceptance of the agenda. Council Whip.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, and all honorable members who are present here today, including those who wanted to be present today but could not. Before Speaker, if you can just allow us on item 22, we had a brief discussion earlier this morning with the multi-party, and we, in consideration of the supplementary items that perhaps maybe would also be included as part of the agenda item, we therefore request just 10 minutes engagement with multi-party, and then when we come back, then we can deal with the issues of the acceptance.
Here a point of order.
Thank you very much for allowing me, Mr. Speaker. Can I please refer you to Rule 53, more specifically Rule 53.2. Councillors and other persons attending to a meeting in council must be dressed traditional or formal dress to the dignity of the council. I'm not going to continue. While we're taking the break, if the Chief Whip of Council could maybe just put on another shirt and not a T-shirt. Thank you very much.
No, the point of order is dismissed. If you can conclude.
Before point of order.
Yes, let me take.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Dr. Mathae, I'm not going to enter into the debate on the dressing code or the about Christmas. The issue I wanted us to consider is that on the items that should be considered for adoption for agenda, as parties will be going, the whips will be going to caucuses, it will be wise also to discuss what I raised in the last council. The issue regarding Cllr, that never found expression in the documents of the council. But there are a lot of development that are happening behind the scenes, including the review on white paper and other documents. The issue that I've been raising on the funding model of local government will never win that debate if we don't participate at Cllr and we are able to influence the decisions that are taken on behalf of local government. Remember, nothing about us without us. A lot of legislations are made on our behalf without even us being given an opportunity as local government to engage, except at the level of Cllr. But Cllr never comes to us, even just to engage us, to say, what is your opinion on this particular piece of legislations? What is your contribution on this matter? We are being called to contribute like any other member of the public, although we represent a particular section of the community, which is the public of Mangaung. So all I'm raising is that while you are going to caucuses, to the caucus of whips, let the whips also discuss that issue, because you leave it now, you'll remember me maybe after 2 years that Councillor Mangale raised it, we took it for granted because it was raised by a member of opposition. We never considered what he was raising. But there are a lot of things that are coming to local government that are having implications on how municipalities are functioning, and people are causing that mess are at a national level. And
Thank
no
you.
one dare to challenge them because we don't have a platform to challenge them except through Cllr.
Your point has been made. I am going to grant 10 minutes
Speaker,
or before.
Before.
Councillor Swola.
thank you very much, Speaker. Now I'm on a different item. I realize that we don't have water in this building. And not having water in this building, I don't know whether is it okay to hold a meeting when there's no water, because most of the time we are going to use bathrooms and there's no water. Even at school, when there is no water, principals allow kids to go home. So I don't know, now as governors, we're setting a precedence. Or even if we don't have water, it's business as usual. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will deal with that. I will be allocating 15 minutes for caucus. Councillor Chard, you made a request that we should withdraw an item that deals with amendments to the terms of reference of MPEG. Unfortunately, I am not in a position to can make that ruling on my own. MPEG is an independent body. I would request you, together with MPEG, you to present your request to MPEG in a form of a caucus, and I will take guidance from that. I know that you presented a lengthy motivation as to why they should be withdrawn now, because they are not aligned to the findings of the Auditor General and so on. My advice to you is that please find 5 minutes whilst parties are caucusing. Let the MPEG committee allow you to make that presentation there, and they will make a determination. They will come back and report. So the caucus break will take 15 minutes. Just on the point of that, Councillor Swola, yes, indeed, there's no water available. We have asked to the manager responsible for facilities to make provision for water tanks to pump water into the building, so that we can have easy access to our ablution facilities, but also for the aircon to work. Should that not suffice, I will be forced to adjourn the meeting depending on the heat inside here. We would have simply spoken to you, Councillor Swola. Maybe you could have accommodated us somewhere. The time is 10:23. Please, let's be back by 10:45. Thank you. Thank you, councillors, for being back. You took more than 15 minutes. This is a special council sitting. By 1:00, we should be finished with the business of the day. So I'm going to be very strict with time. We have already wasted 30 minutes. Can I get a feedback from Chief Whip?
Speaker, before.
Yeah.
No, Speaker, I just wanted to make the announcement that we are supplying this building with water as fire services. So there is water. No stress. Thank you.
Water is only available for ablution facilities. The longer we stay here, the danger it becomes because it will be hot and that will hinder our effective participation. Let me allow Chief Whip to present a report from caucus.
Honorable Speaker, in the best interest of time, after the lengthy discussions that we had, as we requested that we wanted to have a multi-party briefing before the adoption of the agenda, wherein it was also indicated there are two supplementary items that needs to be also considered in that particular manner. We really did had the discussions with the multi-party, but in few seconds, I would therefore want to indicate, Speaker, that we are moving on with the council meeting in consideration or with the inclusion of the two items that are the supplementary, and then we'll discuss in the council meeting. Thank you very much, and I move for the adoption of the agenda with the two additional items.
Thank you, Councillor Snyman.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We cannot agree with that. At our previous meeting, when we adopted the amended standing rules and orders, the Freedom Front Plus warned this council that we would allow a late submission that once. This supplementary agenda wasn't even 48 hours. It wasn't even 24 hours. This is totally against every single principle in our standing rules and orders. And therefore, we propose the adoption of the agenda as is without the supplementary agenda. We cannot continue to ignore our own rules. It's just not how we're supposed to run this council. And if that is how we run this council, how are we running our metro? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Were you not part of the caucus? Councillor Viviers.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I want to second Councillor Snyman van Deventer. And if you continue, you will remember that the Democratic Alliance at the previous council said, we honour our standing rules and orders. Honourable Speaker, you are actually the custodian of the standing rules and orders. There's no way that we will entertain the supplementary agenda. Thank you.
Were you part of the caucus?
Honourable Speaker, being part of a caucus does not necessarily mean that you agree to everything. The whips attended that, they gave their opinions. They did not vote to agree to this. Thank you.
Now, ma'am, I want to, for record purposes, I guess there was a request for a multi-party caucus. So I want to know if Council Whip is presenting his own view. Was he alone there? Or you colleagues were part of that caucus? So I'm not by any way suggesting that you attended and you are bound by the decision of the caucus. I just want to put that on record. Were you part of the caucus, Councillor? Okay. I'm gonna have to Council Whip, what was the agreement? Was there an agreement or?
Ke tlo kopa toloki ke skampa ka bua ka sekgowa he. Hobane ka re ha ke bua ka sekgowa ha e utlwahale taba ena. Tumellano ya rona ya kopano e nyanyana e re bileng le yona motsamaisi wa dipuisano. Eneng ena le Freedom Front Plus ena le AASD ena le Democratic Alliance ena le ATM ena le AIC ena le African National Congress le Economic Freedom Fighters mo neng ho le siyo fela ACDP lema Patriotic Alliance le yona ne le teng kore ho no siyo fela ACDP kopanong eo re dumellane motsamaisi wa dipuisano hore kopano yena e tla tswela pele ho kenyeletswa le dintlha tse pedi tseo ke buileng ka tsona ke a leboha.
Thank you. That being the case, I'm going to have to subject the House to a division. May I, before that, Councillor Mngale?
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker, Dr. Mathae. I would like to persuade the Freedom Front Plus and the Democratic Alliance to withdraw their rejection on this item. Maybe one of the reasons why they are rejecting it, beside the issue of rules, that we didn't comply with the rules, we agree. But one of the reasons why maybe they are still insisting that the item should not go through, because the explanation was not given that one of the challenges that we have is that with upper limits, the fault was not on the side of the municipality, but the delay was as a result of a national office, in this case, the Minister of Cllr. It was not explicitly clarified so that it can have a disclaimer to say Mangaung is not guilty on this particular issue. On the issue of disciplinary board, we said, given the historical challenges that Mangaung is having, that when there is a vacancy, it might take us almost 8 months to fill another vacancy. We felt that there is a need that this item should go through, but we are not setting a precedent. We even made it very clear to say this should not set as a precedence for this council, and the parties have agreed to that effect. So we are raising it in that context. So I'm pleading with them to accept it with humility, not because they are wrong, but because of this matter is an act of necessity. In terms of legal, with law, it is called an act of necessity, where you do something not because you are right, but because you have to.
Yes, Councillor Snyman.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will not withdraw. It seems as if the councillor is willing to ignore our rules because it's about the upper limits. This is about the rules of council.
There's a point of
That's
order.
it. Thank
Let
you,
me take a
Speaker.
point of order.
there was a multi-party caucus. What is then the relevance of it if we agree there and we disagree with the Democratic Alliance? We must remind the councillor, he is not the whip of the DA. We can see clearly window dressing is at play because the whip decides left and then is counted. He's being humiliated by Councillor Viviers who goes right. So if they don't have party political principles, it is their challenge, not ours. But I'm asking, if the multi-party caucus have reached an agreement and they've agreed, why are we dividing the house here? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Whip.
Yeah, Speaker, Speaker, I think Councillor Mngale put everything into perspective exactly the way we have discussed this particular matter. And I want to put it categorically in this house. The two items that are supplementary were not brought in, and we did not agree on the basis that it is talking about the issues of the upper limit. We've noted everything that has been indicated by Honorable Councillor, including the compliance with the standing rules and orders. That is why our meeting could not be just a 2-minute meeting and then we come out of the meeting and agree. But we agreed in principle to say, we even said in that particular meeting, let this not be a precedence that the items will come the way that they are coming into the house. But for the fact that we sat down and discussed on these particular matters, that is why I'm saying I also agree with what Councillor Mngale has already indicated to say, we humbly request that all the political parties that were in the meeting, they cannot be the ones that are now denying or refusing to accept the decision of the multi-party. Because we said there, it was not in the best interest of one political party. It was in the best interest of all political parties. Hence, all of us, we sat and discussed and we agreed. And there was nothing that suggests that we would not agree in terms of dealing with these particular two matters. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to have to make a ruling.
Mr. Speaker, before you do the ruling,
Oh,
can
okay.
I maybe just rise on Rule 37, please?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, this is a real concern and it needs to be minuted. We have received information that the payment of the upper limits has already been approved before it serves before council, and we have the proof of an email that was sent to all councillors in this council. So therefore, if this report is not withdrawn, we will write to our representatives in the Free State Legislature, and we will refer the matter to the NEC.
Let me take a point of order.
We are not a rubber stamp council.
Let me take a point of order.
Thank you, Speaker. The question will be, Speaker, on this point of order. The councillor is standing here misleading the public, misleading the House in terms of the payments of the upper limits. That, Speaker, has not happened. Speaker, I'm responsible for that department. I'm standing here in confidence to say that we are waiting for the council to pronounce itself on the payments of the upper limits. Then the department will begin to do the calculation based on what has been agreed by this House. The statement from the Honorable Councillor there is misleading, and that statement cannot be allowed in this House. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Malebu.
Mr. Speaker, just to respond, here we have the email. Here we have the email. We will send it through to you as well. Thank you.
Councillor Malebu.
Honorable Speaker, mohlomong re tlama ho utlwisisa hore ha ho bua ka di-whip kapa a multi-party caucus ho biwa ka eng. And each and every political party ka mo ke na le tumelo ya hore ba utlwisisa hore ha ba romela a delegation to that multi-party caucus, ba mo file a mandate. Re tswa ka mane ka kopano ya WIPA speak. Kaofela ha rona re dutse ka moo ra dumellana ka sena se WIP wa council a tlileng ka sona ka councileng ka moo. WIP ya DA ne le teng ka moo speak. If there was issues, o tshwantsha ba e hlalositse teng ka moo ra discuss. Jwale ka di WIP tsa di party tsena tse ka mona kaofela speak. Ha ke utlwisisi ke ka lebaka la eng ha re fitla ka moo e be re tlo hlanohela qeto e re nkileng ka mane mo ne re le teng kaofela. All of us as WIPs re rongwe ke di party tsa rona ho ya ka mane kopano nyane ya WIPARI. Ke kopa kaofela ha rona ka moo re baholo kelelo tsa rona di phodile ha se ke ra tlo etswa bana ha re fitla ka mona speaker. Ke a kopa re dumelane tumellano eo ha ebe ka mkgo WIP ya ibuileng ka teng speaker ho wena no tena hore na qeto ke efeng e ke itlisang kopo ko ho wena speaker gore re kopa o tswella pele ka mosebetsi wa letsatsi. Ke a leboha modulasetulo.
Majoro, okay. Let me make the following ruling, councillors. When there was a request for a multi-party caucus, I granted that request simply on the basis that party whips were going to consult each other on matters that relates to the agenda. And if there's an agreement arising from all party whips, that agreement will stand. If two or more parties did not vote in favor of the agreement, but the majority whips were in favor of what was proposed, I have no obligation other than to take the popular view of the collective of parties. And in this regard, what has been presented by Chief Whip will prevail. I will, however, note the abstention of the two parties, DA and Freedom Front Plus, but the popular view of party whips will prevail. In that regard, I want to make that ruling. May I find out from you, Councillor Chart, whether were you successful in convincing the MPEG on your request?
Thank you, Chairperson, Speaker. Yes, we were able to reach agreement. The Chairperson asked that I give the feedback. I don't know if I must give you more details now or we can handle it under that item.
Okay. If indeed you have reached an agreement, let me allow the relevant chairperson to state that agreement. You will supplement, but let me.
Speaker, you asked me. I must please give feedback because yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, Impact indeed met on 12 February, and we agreed to approve the item. But in the documentation that came to council, there's information that we didn't have to our avail. So Impact has decided to just propose an amendment to the resolution, just to add a third resolution to the item to cover us to be legally safe. I can give that resolution now and send it to you, Speaker, or we can discuss it under the item.
MPEG Chair, is that the case? You are in agreement with that? Okay, simply write it down so that at the time when we deal with this item, we can simply include the third recommendation.
Thank you, Speaker.
Sure. Councillors, may we now proceed to item 23, which deals disclosure of interest. That item has been dealt with administratively. May we move to item 24, announcements.
Point of personal explanation.
Okay,
I just want clarity from you, Honourable Speaker. Are we going to vote on the agenda or not? If you can just give me clarity. If you answer me, I can tell you why I'm asking.
no, I've already made a ruling because of
No.
the party whips, and I've recorded.
Covered, thank you. Can I then just humbly refer you to Rule 47? Please give us your ruling. Suspension of standing rules and orders. 47.1. No standing order shall be suspended without the vote of the majority of the members of the council present, which must be at least 60% of members present. And a motion duly seconded to suspend the standing rules and orders shall be put without debate. If you can just give your ruling, thank you.
My ruling is that we are not suspending rules. We are continuing with the agenda because there was a request for a party caucus. And from the whips, there's a clear suggestion that we should adopt the agenda as is together with the supplementary items. However, you are recording your dissatisfaction together with the Freedom Front Plus, and I have recorded that. And as it stands, the agenda will proceed as it is. Councillor at the back.
Point of order.
Okay, let me take point of order.
Speaker, I just want to bring it on your attention. I think on point number 22, we didn't finish it, the acceptance of the agenda, because I didn't hear something for the acceptance of the agenda, but I see you pass it already. We did come to some points that we was discussing in the WIPRI meetings that we are not feeling well about point number 4 on the item and point number 5, that we wanted to be referred back to the Section 80 committees because it was not being discussed in the Section 80 committees. So can you please note it? Thank you.
Slalu.
Thank you very much, Chairman. You know, Chairman, we have written Rule 38 to say there are lots and lots of committees that are not sitting. And at the end of the day, we see items propping in into the council. And then we're told to say that, no, if these items are taken out, it will affect the adjustment budget. It's wrong. Because some of these members have to account to the caucus to say, what happened to your committee? Why is that? And the next thing they say, no, we don't know. The same 4 and 5. Councillor Ramatlama sits in that, what do you call this, committee. But at the end of the day, it was not served. Now we are surprised because when we asked him yesterday, when we were having a caucus to say, what is happening here? He does not know. Why is it in the endo? So it can't be correct that now things are just being thrown into us, into the council, and now they have to go through. And whilst committees are not sitting, it's wrong. And we have written to you to say committees are not sitting. People are being lazy, are paid for doing nothing. It's wrong. And now we have to come and take these things through. It's wrong, Chairman. Can't be.
Okay, I'm going to have to divide the house. Can I see those who are in favor?
Default.
Okay.
Every time now we have to divide it. The majority has to. No, it's wrong. You are bringing things and the next thing, you come and divide the house.
Point of order.
No, let me take,
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. There are two supplementary items. They fall under the Speaker's items. The one they read, they made a mistake to, it is falling under the Executive Mayor. So the two items, they are falling under the Speaker's reports. Thank you.
thank you. Let me listen to your point of order, Councillor.
Speaker, I think what you're doing today in this house is very wrong. Because we come to agreement in the WPRI meeting, and we even called the mayor to make his decision on that. So, to do things what you are trying to do now, I want the community must see. Because you know the ANC is the ruling party and they have more votes here in council. So what you are doing is not right, what you are doing to the communities. I thank you.
Speaker.
No, Councillor, you are not going to blackmail me. That's emotional blackmail. You raised a point that you don't agree with point 4 and 5. And what do you expect me to do? The only logical conclusion is that I must divide the house. Because you were in agreement with the two supplementary agendas, but you are expressing a dissent on point 4 and 5. And there's just no way I can make a ruling. I have to divide the house because on other issues you are agreeing in the multi-party caucus, but specifically for 4 and 5, you do not agree. You say committees are not sitting. In fact, even EFF are saying 4 and 5 must be removed. I have no option but to divide the house. Unfortunately, those are standard operating procedures of this house. You can only decide on a matter if you divide the house through a vote. So I'm going to
Point
do.
of order.
No, I'm not going to take your point of order.
Point of order, Chair. Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
No.
Speaker, point of order.
No. Councillor Malebu.
Speaker, what does your rule say about your Section 80 committees? What does your rule say? Can you give it to us about your Section 80 committees that you must hold every month? Can you give us that rule? Thank you.
Councillor Malebu.
Speaker, looks like how I told her handle speak. Yes, we were in that WPRI meeting speak. Indeed, this item 4 and 5, rebuile ka yona in that committee speak. Galaba ga etsa le bonnete ba re chief whip o bitsa mayor hore a tlo hlalosa hore na why these two items this are server in section 8 more di tlamileng di fiteng before di fitla kwa. There's issues behind these items when I speaker. There's investigations this hunting as we speaker. Mare the people willing badula to the very same committees, they did not sit speaker. Harete fela in the council monana just to halalela. Reta msebetsi wa rona rena re le ma councillor. There's people in those committees. They must come back to the caucus and bato reporter speak. We've mentioned that in the WPRI meeting speaker. Rita Huenaji, the speaker, Rita Huenaji. Karabo e leng hore councillor Dipali o file yona ke ke khutleng ka report ho yena to say the adjustment budget, unfortunately, re hlalosetswa taba hore e tlo ba affected. How e etsahala hore this item ya bo 4 le bo 5 e etswe ke yona karabo ke ifumaneng eo speaker. Ene ke batla ho e beya ho wena today speaker hore much as you are saying hauna any choice but to divide the house. ke batla ho jwetsa hore e tlo dula e le ba ntho ya mehla le mehla hore ha ona mohlang di-item di tshwanetse di tlama di lo serva ko committing di be le taba ya hore ha re tlama hore re tlo etsa mosebetsi ha di sa servile ko committing di fetela ko councilling straight, and then you are going to divide the house knowing very well hore the majority in ntse tlo ba your ANC councillors. It's wrong, Speaker, and you must know today it's wrong.
Point of order.
No, it's not wrong, it's internal democracy. May I find out from the relevant MMC, why did these two items? No, please, can I? Can I establish why did these two items not go through a Section 80 committee?
Thank you, Speaker. I'll start.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think honorable members must not deceive the House. Item number 5, of which it speaks of the building at Transnet. It said last year in this council, it went through Section 8 last year, Speaker, in this council. This is an adjustment budget, which now speaks on the monies related to buying that building. So that's why it's served in the Section 80 of Finance. So let us not now put to public to say items are not be sitting in Section 80 and they're coming here. This is just on the financial aspect of the building. The building, it was decided by this council to be bought last year. Dango.
Zamir.
Oh, sorry.
If you read that item properly, it's for technical department to request finance, but via council that there must be additional money for mass sport. It's a request. Now, where does the finance, because we worry about the adjustment budget, we have to make sure that we submit something. Where does the Section 80 comes in there? It does not feature there. It's our request out of our own assessment. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I now see hands of those in favor of the agenda? Okay, let me take this hand.
Ke lebile motsamaisi wa dipuisano. E re ke qale ka chairperson ya Section 80 Committee ya Technical Services. One, I thought when you stand up, you are going to correct even the misplacement of the item. Yeah, human settlement. Page 11 says Technical Services is responsible for this thing. This thing does not belong to Technical Services. It belongs to human settlement. You must correct it. Councillor Ntombi, you are correct. The matter was discussed in this council, but the finalization of it never passed through Section 80. There was a report last time in the previous council where we dealt with the matter, but the finalization of it was never went through Section 80 committee, and that's where we're contesting. Not that we don't know anything about the matter. 2, on technical services, item number 4, I think it's 4.
All right, let me take a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Councillor said that they've not finalized it. How do we finalize items in the council? Isn't this the place for finalization? Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. She deliberately took a conscious decision to misunderstand what I'm saying. So it's not my problem that consciously she's decided to misunderstand me. Councillor was on item 4. Please log in. I don't want to go to your level. Sure. Councillor Vusi, you know, sometimes we must avoid being chameleons. When we raise matters of principle, even in our corners, because I'm a councillor and when I'm having a concern, I will raise the relevant chairperson. We discussed this matter, me and you, and we agreed it's wrong. That it went through a council before Section 80. And some of us knows nothing about muscle sport. Even our committee, we never did oversight. We don't know what is happening there in muscle sport. You went there via IDP. You went there via IDP.
Can I take a point of order? Okay.
Point of order.
Speaker, point of order. No. The councillor must not mislead the council. Our discussion was the IDP portfolio committee went on oversight without technical. This is what he said, not this issue. He must not mislead the council. I remember fully well what we discussed, of which he was saying is wrong. I said it will be corrected. So he must not mislead the council.
I'm gonna have to make a ruling, councillors. I'm gonna have to divide the house on the agenda. May I see hands of those who are in favor of the agenda as they are?
Clarity.
Together with the supplementary items.
You must never address him like that. He's Honorable Coach Dipoko. Honorably. Yes.
No. Sorry, councillors. Councillors, please. Aibo. Voting is in session. And you councillors are howling. Please. Rules are very clear that when voting is in session, everybody must observe the process. Thank you. Those against the adoption of the agenda together with the supplementary agenda. Those who abstain, abstentions. Okay, those in favor of the adoption of the agenda as is together with those supplementary is 52. Those against is 41. 0 abstentions. The agenda will be carried as it is.
Point of order.
You may proceed.
Thank you for allowing me, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, you made a ruling. You said that suspension of standing rules and orders is not applicable on that initial ruling. Then you made the ruling that it's clear that nobody truly agrees with what the Chief Whip has said. And unfortunately now you did put the acceptance of agenda to a vote. And now I'm going to go back to Rule 47 again to say that if we suspend the standing rules and order, there must be a 60% of everybody here saying we're going to continue in that fashion. I'm talking about the supplementary agenda. And on my quick calculations, I'm not sure, I just want to get clarity, do we have 60% of the House? Thank you.
Now your point of order is dismissed. I did not suspend the rules of the standing rules. So I'm not going to entertain that point anymore. Councillor Snyman, if you will be speaking on that point, I'm going to rule you out of order. Okay.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. You said that howling while we are voting is against the standing rules and orders. I want to refer you to Rule 13.2. When a vote is taken on any matter before the Council, the Speaker shall cause the bells to be rung for a period of 1 minute, after which all doors shall be closed and no member or other person shall be allowed to enter or leave the chamber. So we are picking which rules we apply and which not. This is very disturbing. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
No, you are deliberately misinterpreting the rules. Rules by show of hands is something different. Rules where a vote is cast in a secret ballot applies to that. So please do not take advantage and misinterpret rules willy-nilly. You are being disingenuous. May we then proceed, please? May we then proceed to announcements. If there are any announcements, can I acknowledge hands for announcements? Councillor Tereblanche.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Mayor,
No, let me put on my glasses.
What?
You will be followed by Councillor Ferreira,
Oh.
Councillor Swartz, Councillor Letawana, in that order.
Mr. Speaker.
Or Councillor Makulwani. Am I missing out in that order? Or Councillor Denner? You may proceed, Councillor Tereblanche.
Mr. Speaker, they came out and out of the mayor. I spoke to the whip as well and the mayor. The prices of the swimming pool was deducted to 10 rands until this weekend, the end of Feb. Van Hededal en van die dia vir ons graag 'n versoeking. Laat hulle vir ons die huidige vee wat nou op die swembad is, laat hulle dit vir ons hou tot die
Excuse, Councillor, there's a point of order. I will...
Mike, no, I just want to understand, just give me clarity. If the councillor says he speaks on behalf of Heidedal, who gave him a mandate? When did Heidedal ask him? And there is a ward councillor, and certain things is not for announcements from Ati. Relax. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Snacks Councillor Logan is the ward councillor, but we never see her either. And everything she come and she backchat me. She every time she come, I'm just asking the whip and the police, and I'm just asking the whip and the mayor to have a look in that price again. The season, there's only 1 month left, and then the season will be over. Can you please keep that price? You decide until this weekend, all the prices for the whole season, and when it comes with a budget, laat hulle ingaan. Onze kinders kan dit nie bekostig in die townships nie, maar die hoë pryse het dit in gedagte neem. En onze councillor praat so baie. Sy kan haar geld gee. Sy het laas vir ons gesê met die verkiesing, I'm sitting next to the money. Now let's put in that money and let's bring the swimming pools prices down. I thank you.
Do you have the mandate? That is what she's asking.
Mr. Chair, like I just said, we never see here in Hedal. We never see, so, I mean, I'm also a councillor, and my party put me into $80 as well as a PR councillor. I've got the same rights.
All right.
Thank you. I hope you understand that, Mr. Speaker. Thank
Councillor Ferrer.
You
Speaker, re alwana monana di community dia safara kantle. So announcement ya ka sirase. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My announcement is on foot and mouth disease, which has been declared a national state of disaster by the Minister of Agriculture. In the Free State, we have 256 active infectious groups at the moment. Foot and mouth disease is moving closer to us here in Mangaung. Mangaung has implemented some measures at Naval Hill, but we as Mangaung have not done enough to protect our livestock of rural communities and on communal farmers on municipal land, Speaker. As a vet in this council, I have an obligation to advise council. I have submitted a motion that we must bring to council as soon as possible with regards to the duties of the municipality as a municipality and as landowner and custodian. Mr. Speaker, please bring the motion for discussion and implementation as soon as possible to protect our vulnerable communities. Please, Mr. Speaker, this is a big threat and disaster at our doorstep. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. We indeed have received a formal request together with the city manager to table this for discussion by members. We will obviously look into a special meeting or an ordinary meeting where we can have a thorough debate as per this request. Councillor Denner.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this past week has once again shown that our electricity infrastructure is failing our residents. Speaker, prolonged power interruptions across the metro are unacceptable. We acknowledge the hard work of the teams on the ground at Cllr. They really worked hard. But crisis management is not governance. Fixing breakdowns after they happen is not a plan. Council must be presented with a clear time-bound recovery strategy and long-term infrastructure plan, with budgets and accountability. When electricity fails, water fails. When both fail, our residents pay the price. This cannot continue like this, Speaker. We have to act now to try and save the city. And on a lighter note, Speaker, I just wanted to check if Councillor De Bruin, should we still call him Councillor De Bruin, as his minister changed all the names in the Eastern Cape? Is he still John De Bruin?
Point of order. Sorry, Speaker. I think the phrase front, they must withdraw. They know what's coming for them. Because we said, as the Patriotic Alliance, the Freedom Front must stay away. They know what's happening in Western Cape. So we will change everything for the future of our children and our grandchildren. Salute!
So are you going to change everything here?
Yes, Speaker, we will come and change you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mantus Letawan.
Speaker, e re ke hlomphe protocol established. Speaker, ho ya ka Township Economic Development Act ya 2024, all the spaza shop owners are required to have a business license that is valid for them to operate the spaza shops. Re ile ra ibulela re le masepala wa Mangaung hore batho ba rona ba tle ba tlo kenya dikopo tsa ho etsa ho rana le ho thuswa ka tsamaiso ya di spaza shop tsena. Mara ke maswabi speaker hore despite having gone that far, communities tsa rona tse e leng hore di ile tsa bontsha interest, of which we received more than 2,000 applications. To date, only 400 of them went through the planning through the process ya uthuswa ka zoning and rezoning. And boholo ba bona re bua je speaker ka letsatsi le ha ba so ka batla ho tlo lata di consent letters tsa bona hore ba kgone hore ba lo tswela pele ka tsamaiso eo ya di-sponsorship seo. So re etsa boipiletso ho bohle ba ileng ba kenya dikopo hore ba tle ba tlo lata di-consent letters tsa bona. The last date e re ba fileng yona ki the 12th tsa March 2026. And if ele hore ha batle ho tlo lata dineo tsenana beyond that period, re tla be re tla ele hore yanong we are now enforcing the law. So re etsa boipiletso ho setjhaba sohle sa Mangaung se ileng sa kenya dikopo tsa ho rana dispenser shop hore ba tle ba itlhahise ho tla lata di-consent letters tsa bona. Ba e leng hore ba ntse ba operator e le hore ba nang le tabatabelo ya ho operator dispenser shop, le mati le ntse le butswi, bohle ba batlang ho tla kenya dikopo ba ka tla mona Mangaung ka mo 8th floor 8 room 801 o tla batla lesedi le thuso ya hore ba ka thusetswa jwang hore le bona ba kenye dikopo tseo. Ha re batle fela batho ba ileng hore ba se ba na le tjhelete ya hore ba ka etsa tjhelete e teng e mmuso o fanang ka yona e kana ka 100,000, of which ho na le tjhelete ho yona mo o kgonang ho thuswa ka infrastructure, ho na le tjhelete ho yona mo o kgonang ho fumana stock, ho na le tjhelete mo ho yona o kgonang hore o trainwe hore o kgone ho ba le tsebo ya hore dispenser shop o ka kgona hore o e tsamaise jwang. Re etsa boipiletso bo ho setjhaba sa rona. And engwe e ke nana hore e bohlokwa haholo speaker ke hore jwale ka phase 1 e re bontshitse boholo ba batho ba rona ba tlile ba tla kenya dikopo tseo, mara ha o checka o thola hore application e ne kene ka ntate X, mara ha o fihla di-documenting haholo tse tshwanang le tse tsa bo di-bank account, ke thola hore boholo ba batho ba neng ba sebeditse ditokomane tseo ke batho ba tswang ka ntle ba sane ba sa dumellwa hore ebe ke part ya process eo. So re se re le ho batlatla please ba ska banka monyatla wa hore ha rena ba re kgona ho pick up bohlaswa bo tshwanang le bo. Ke a leboha.
Are a leboha molekgotla a o e beile ka Sesotho so that ba re shebeletseng o social media e le batho ba rona ba be le tsebo le hore na ke eng eo ba tshwantseng ho e lokisa. Re a leboha. Councillor Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker and honorable councillors, members of citizens of Mangaung, the Patriotic Alliance this morning rises to announce the following, shall I call it, two resounding or a couple of resounding successes. On the 11th of February, of which I was part of the fighting team, the Patriotic Alliance took the 3rd ward in a row within a space of 3 weeks from the DA in George. Ward 16, George didn't whisper, I must say, it roared. From Ward 17 to 27, and now Ward 16. 1,873 votes. A clear victory, a clear mandate, indeed. with the DA at 983 votes, and the ANC with a mere 10 votes. I must confess that the ANC really tried their level best, and they worked hard this time on the 11th of February, getting 10 votes compared to the 3 votes in Ward 27. The Patriotic Alliance is moving, and it's moving in leaps, growing in leaps and bounds. Secondly, Mr. Honorable Speaker, our President, Honorable Gayton Mackenzie, visited the Free State on Monday, the 23rd of February, engaging directly with our structures and patriots on the ground. He was accompanied by one of our NEC members, Leader Cllr, as part of the National Deployment Program. Our entire NEC has been split across all 9 provinces to take leadership and responsibilities where it matters the most, and that is on the ground with our people. Hashtag Grontu is not just a slogan, Speaker. It is a principle that applies to everyone in the Patriotic Alliance, from the President to every leader in every province. This is leadership in action. Ha ke qetela modulasetulo. Ka in March, ke sa hopola ke ne ke kene fela mo counseling. Ke ne ko ngolletse lengolo, ke be ke follow up hape ka WhatsApp. Mo ke ne ko kopile hore o re fe clarity ya hore the constituency meetings for PR councillors, specifically for Patriotic Alliance, ka hoba letsatsi leo ha le ne leng ho thwekeng leng kamohela in this council, o buile wa re eya ke gona hona jwale hore ke nne le di meeting with the constituency. And then the minute ha ke se ke yetsa jwalo ke be ke khalemelwa. So now ke ne ke kopa fela hore Ntate Speaker o konfe karabo mabapi le kwalo leo le ke le ngotseng mo ke ne ke kopa hore o re fe clarity, hape o re fe either approval or non-approval ka kopo e kgolo. Ke lebohile haholo. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. That concludes the debate on announcements. Oh, you are still the last. You are the last. Councillor Makulwane.
Re ke lebohe motsamaisi wa Speaker, ke ne ke re molemong wa setjhaba sa rona ke ne ke tlo etsa fela tsebiso kapa sona sehopotso hore di public participation tsa rona di se di tswela pele. Ha o ka hopola di qadile mane Thabantsho letsatsing la 23 kgweding yona ena ya Hlakola selemong sona sena sa 2026 mane Thabantsho Barolong Hall, mme letsatsing la 20 a nang le metso e 4 ile a tswella pele sebakeng sane sa Botshabelo, Samson Sefuthi le H Hall man. Mme ne ke hopotsa fela baahi ba Van Stad le Vepenare le di Vestor hore kgweding ena e tlang ya Hlakubele re tla be re ba etetse ka mono, mme re a tshepa le ho dumela hore re tla ba fumana ba le malalaotswe. Mme ne ke re fela ka bokgutswane pele ke dula fatshe kwano Speaker, ke nke monyetla ona ka o leboha dihloho tsa mafapa a fapaneng hobane di public participation tsena tsa rona ka nnete ba ikitlaeditse, mme ke re ba tshware fela jwalo molemong wa setjhaba sa rona speaker hobane ho bohlokwa haholo hore motho a etsa hantle o mo jwetse la a etsa hampe o mo jwetse ba Sesotho sena se re ntho e ntle ya kgotswa e mpe e tshwaelwa ka mathi mme ke re le gagi o gaga se sa mo gageng le borokong ke a leboha.
Thank you. That concludes our debate on this item of announcement. I did reply, Councillor Swartz. I replied to Councillor De Bruyn that a PR councillor cannot independently call a ward constituency meeting without a person elected by the ward, which is a ward councillor. It is part of policy, the national legislation. You can imagine what conflict will it bring. If I am a PR councillor, I simply go to a ward of Councillor Ferreira there and convene a constituency meeting. Even without him knowing, it will bring a lot of tensions. However, a PR councillor is allocated a ward where a member of the same party comes from, so that there is no political contestation of the space. So yes, you've got the right to be allocated a ward. If in the event your party has won a ward, we can allocate you to a ward so that you are able to freely interact with that constituency. However, if you were to be assigned to a different ward, a ward won by another party, and you simply get into a ward, convene a meeting, even without the knowledge of the ward councillor, it brings too much contestation of political power, and in terms of national legislation, it is not allowed. However, there are instances where party exchange notes, they request a political party or a concerned ward councillor that, look, we have members here, we have a community, can you allow me to call a meeting, or can you call a meeting on my behalf? I will simply go there and address on my own as a PA councillor. That is allowed. Thank you. That concludes our discussions on announcements. Colleagues, we will now proceed to Councillor Dipale, you were not on my order paper.
Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me, though I was not on your
No,
order.
no, I'm not going to allow you.
Oh.
You were not on the order paper, so skafutumal.
No, it's a small thing. It's a small.
Okay.
I kindly recognize the provincial chair of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Mr. Mapeula Dipuk, Fighter Mapeula Dipuk. Thank you very much.
That concludes our discussions on item on announcements. I just want to indicate that just before we proceed to the next item, I have received a request from the Democratic Alliance to call a meeting where the financial board can come and the disciplinary board can come and present to the council. I just want to indicate that I will only call that meeting if there's a seconder to that proposal. So if one of the party in the house can in writing support that motion, I will have no choice. The rules enjoins me to call that special meeting where we can allow the DC board to present to us, and in return, councillors having to ask questions to the DC board. So I'm just indicating that because I did not reply in writing to your request. I simply acknowledged your request and I did not offer you this advice. May I, without any waste of time, acknowledge the provincial chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters, fighter Coach Dipogo. You are acknowledged in this house. May I therefore proceed to the next item? The next item is reports from the speaker. These items are upside down. I don't know now where it is. So we were supposed to start items executive mayor. So with your indulgence, colleagues, I will first start with the items of the executive mayor. I'm just thinking that there was a mistake on the part of our secretariat. Our agenda, the layout of our agenda, the first item after all these in-house matters is the reports of the executive mayor, followed then by the reports from the speaker, followed then by the reports from MPEG, followed by the reports from the audit committee, if there is any, followed by the reports of SALGA, followed by the reports of ward committees, and lastly, followed by in-committee matters. So I just want to change the order, if you so allow. Executive Mayor, may I now acknowledge you to present your items. We will obviously get back to the reports from the speaker, colleagues. Oh, so I'm sorry, Executive Mayor. The Secretariat here is consulting with me. She's referring me to the revised standing rules and orders that we, in terms of Rule 21, we have not been doing it the correct way. If you can refer to, which page is that? Page 17. Page 17, which deals with the business at council's meetings. After announcements, the first item that comes is reports from the speaker, followed by the reports from the executive mayor. So I'm just saying, I'm sorry to have caused some discomfort. Let me then go back to the initial plan. I will allow those reports from the speaker to be tabled. I think that's a report on upper limits, which is a supplementary agenda. Chairperson of the Remunerations Committee, Councillor Tladi, you are acknowledged.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Executive Mayor, Deputy Executive Mayor, Council Whip, MMCs, Chairpersons of Section 79, all councillors, baahi ba Mangaung, especially ba Ward 13, mo ke tswang teng na le Councillor Nombulelo Sitwe, ke re dumelang. Honorable Speaker, let me start with the item of determinations of salaries and allowance benefits payable to the members of the council. That will be the first item that I want to draw, to submit. The second item, it will be the one of the disciplinary board framework. Those are the two items from us, Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor. May I now recognize hands of those who will be speaking on those items. First, the determination of upper limits of salaries, allowances, and benefits payable to different members of municipal councils with effect from the 1st July 2025. Item 125. Councillor Tladi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was drawing the item, that first item of the delimitation, determination of salaries. The purpose of that item of the report. This report is to request the council to consider and implement the determination of upper salaries, limits or allowances and benefits payable to the members of the municipal council, as published under Government Gazette number 54179, dated 20 February 2026 by the Minister of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs. The background. The Minister of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs has promulgated Government Gazette number 54179, dated 20 February 2026, determining the upper limits of salaries, allowances, and benefits payable to members of the municipal council. The Gazette provides for a 4% increase in line with the approved national adjustment framework. In terms of the Gazette and applicable legislation, the authority to approve adjustment of salaries and allowance of councillors is a reserved power of council. Adjustment may only be implemented after formal consideration and approval by council resolution. Municipal council must obtain concurrence from the MEC of local government prior to the implementation of the adjusted salaries and benefits. Financial implications. Budget provisions has been made for councillors' salaries and benefits in the approved budget of 2025-2026 financial year. The necessary budget allowances are available and await ministerial promulgation and council approval for implementation. The administration will calculate and process any retrospective payment due affected from 1 July 2025. Legal implications. The implementation of salary and allowances adjustment must comply with the Government Gazette number 54179, dated 20 February 2026, required for a formal council resolution, required prior concurrence from the MEC local government before implementation, must align with the applicable municipal governance legislation and national remuneration framework. Policy and government consideration. Council knows that the determination of upper limits of salaries and benefits for municipal council is made by the Minister of Corporate Government and Traditional Affairs. Council further knows the broader concern that municipal councillors as public representatives and the spheres of government closest to the communities often experiences disparities in remuneration structures compared to other spheres of government. Municipal councils are at the forefront of service deliveries, represented the first point of contact between communities and government, are required to fund certain benefits such as pension, medical aid, contribution in ways that differs from other spheres. In this regard, therefore, propose that national government and relevant stakeholders, including Cllr, engages in structured discussions to ensure equitable treatment of municipal councils in relation to remuneration, benefits, and conditions of service across all spheres of government. Recommendation. It is recommended that council resolves as follows. That council notes the determination of upper limits, allowances, and benefit of municipal council as determined by the Minister of Cllr. That council notes and concur from the MEC of local government must be obtained prior implementation of the adjusted salaries and benefits. That council confirm budget provision has been made in the financial year 2025, that the council administration calculate the salaries and any retrospective payments with effect from 1 July 2025. Hoqala ka di 1 July 2025, that will be 8 months. Yes, that will be 8 months. Ya leboha motsamaisi wa dipuisano.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Remunerations Committee, Councillor Tladi. May I see hands of those who would want to speak on this item? Councillor Mungale. Councillor Banyani. Le Councillor De Brain. Ya Mukenya. In that order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Dr. Mathae. I was about to honor the Commissar of the EFF, Commissar Mapeula Dipoko, but it seems like he has just gone out. Okay. No, send my greetings, but the Councilor's blog, this money is a lot compared to our performance in this municipality. It doesn't talk to our performance. If we check how we have performed as a municipality, and you check the amount of money that we are getting, they don't talk to each other. It's 4%. It's 4%. But we are being paid even a lot of months to that effect. So the issue here is that every payment must also be in line with performance. But in a case where the performance was not satisfactory, the issue of payment becomes questionable, becomes suspect, and people might even assume that we are paying ourselves because we are the ones who are voting for our matter. But the reality here is that we should be in a situation whereby before the minister can decide how much is going to be given as an increase to municipalities, the minister should only first check the performance of the municipality. If the municipality has underperformed, the minister must crack a whip. Even if it can be maybe in a way that will be selective, to say the executive should not get an increase because they were the ones who were driving the vehicle, and the chief accounting officer should also not get a raise because he's the one who was the head of administration. But in this particular case, it's like minister is saying, so far, so good. You have been put under section 1397, you are fine. You will still get to increase, don't worry. Do as you please, you'll still get to increase. This is what the minister is saying. And the Minister of Finance, I was listening to him yesterday. I wanted him to be strong on the non-performing municipalities, to say all the non-performing municipalities or municipalities that are under administration will not get an increase this year, or maybe they'll get a salary decrease. Like in other countries where you have not performed well, they decrease your salary instead of increasing it. Now, I know but the reality is sometimes you have to say the truth, because there are people in the streets who are waiting for our services who are not happy about the kind of service you are providing to them. Some of you, even when you are at funerals, you can see funeral just the street before you arrive there. If you are faced with reality as you receive. which has become normal. And I know today le tlo e hana because hona le something o tshwantse e fetiswe e tatileng e potlaketsweng ha bohloko. But reality kore, you know we are living in appalling condition, especially those who are in the township. Our condition is unacceptable. And we can't regard it as normal. And that does not qualify us to get an increase. I hope I've not offended you, but I've put you some, I've treated you with some love, just to say, you deserve this. Yes, you deserve this. And I'm not excluding myself because if we are here, we are unable to twist your hand to realize that you are wrong in what you are doing. It means we have not done our part.
Your time is
We
up.
have not struck sense into you. Okay.
Thank you. Secretary.
I don't know what is the howling for.
No, your time is up.
Okay.
Also, Rina, what change when I said something? Councillor Banyani.
Speaker, tlo ke lebohe. Ke le dumedise ka ditulo jwalo. Ne ke tla re ha ke na le mantswe bane the chairperson ya section 79 o di beile ka boqhetseke. Mme ke tla re fela ho ka hara council hore item ena e tsamile di processes tse tshwanetseng. Re lokotse ka o lekana hantle ha ba le a combined study groups etsa bonnete ba hore ha hona mo le reng ho ba le loophole teng e sebeditswe hantle. Ntate Mongale ke tla utlwisisa ha o bona e ka tšhelete e ngata e siyo eo hoba ke sure fela di ward councillors di tla o jwetsa hore ena ha iyo ke dipinatsi hobane ba jere batho ba ngata haholo ka morao ka mane be reng ha o kgolwa fela ba santse ba kokote. Some of the peer councillors will not even experience that, including yourself and Ntate Mongale. Mare ke ne ke re he ke hle ke hlakise hore taba tsena speaker ke tse re di tsebang me e fihlile a se ntho re iphang yona ke ntho e hlang hodimo kwane sentse ntse jwalo ha be ne re na le matlo ipha mo ne re tla eketsa letsoonyana fela go setšhaba se tletse ba kgotsofala ga le bua speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dipale.
No, thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, ke batla ho totobetsa fela mantsweng a Councillor Mongale mono to say really ha re tsamaya ka ntle ka mono re sheba maemo a batho ba bona e le go ba phela ka ga one in as much as o go bolela hore di PR councillor wena o councillor o jere eng a utlwisa bohloko baneng. We are saying to our people to say accept this, accept it and live with it, and rona re tata re kreya tšhelete ya increment eo le ya performance mare in reality ha re checka performance ha iyo good people ho hang ha iyo utlwisa bohloko. He's correct when he says we are going to vote for it. You are going to vote for it and give ourselves kanaki in that money. Mare jwale se leng ka ntle ka molo se utlwisa bohloko. There was a place mo ne ke ile teng ke ward 2 or ward 3 mo e leng hore mantsibu especially ka samaso wangga mo ke ward 3 wangga to a point ya hore la motho ha khone dula ka ntle ho a chesa khotsa wetsang ha du khone dula ka ntle ke hopola ka tsatsing ke bampitsitse mono ba re ke tlo address a meeting ba re no deliberately we brought you so late so that you utlwe gona ho nkga jwang mona. And we are saying to our people, accept and live with it. It's unacceptable. So today is going to happen like that, and really, this is wrong. This is actually wrong. And we know, Rona bilene Rona, especially Rona, but why it's on the door to door. Rona, but why long about address the community as much as Abu Agan to what's even Lenorna, community high address, Ella Kadin to the Otabu and Katsona. We are in committees HODs are not coming to the committee so that they answerable, and they're going to get these things. And it's sad. Ebile ke kentse matsoho ka diphokotong, wena ntho. Kore ena go supenza ga ke hlomphe. Ha ke kentse ha ke lo addressa motho a moholo ke a kentsha matsoho ka diphokotong mare. Ke kentse ka diphokotong kore ha ke hlomphe. You look good on that pink. Thank you very much.
Councillor Tsoledi, you are the last.
Ere ke hlomphe speaker, ke hlomphe le protocol e sentse e entswe ka hara ntlo ena. Councillor Dipale le Councillor Mongale, le ha re ka re ha re nke tjhelete ena, ha e moo ho ilo thusetsa moo matlakaleng o phutha matlakala kopo o etsa eng hobane tjhelete ena e budgetilwe e budget ya teng ke line item e reng ke nyollelo ya rona re le ma councillor. Hape ntlha e nngwe ke batlang re gopole ke hore counseling e fetileng re ile ra fetisa re hlahloba tokomane e buang ya midterm review report e bontshitseng hore go na le tsitsinyeho ho performance ya rona. Kgwedi e nngwe le e nngwe re etsa raporto ya kotare e nngwe le nngwe le re tlisa raporto ya SDBIP ka hara council mona e bontshang hore performance ya rona e a nyoloha re le masepala ona. Jwale ka nnete ha se nnete ya hore le tlatla ka mona le be le tlo bua ka hore ha re perform. Performance e teng ya bontsha re itlisa kotare le kotare mona e a bontsha hore mo le mone re le teng go na le tsitsinyeho. So e bolela hore le ya sebetsa le ma councillor ene ma councillor a le ona a e hloka nyollelo ena. Jwalo ka mang le mang, jwalo ka mosebetsi e mong le e mong a teng ka hara naha ena, jwalo ka di-member tse ding le tse ding tse teng ka hara naha ena ya Afrika Borwa. Ene e utlwisa bohloko speaker, re tlo kopa speaker jwalo ka ho le chairperson wa SALGA hore ha ntse le kena dipuisano hore ma councillor a le ona remuneration ya bona ha e determine jwalo ka remuneration ya batho ba hara parliament. Haholoholo hobane ma councillor ke ona a sebetsang fatshe mane ba sebetsang le batho ho feta bane ba ka hara parliament mane Cape Town kopo hona mane mohlomphehi diphokoma le teng legislature. Ha ba sebetse jwalo ka re sebetsa re le ma councillor fela bona ya bona salary determination ya bona e etsuwa ho feta ena e ileng ya rona ba mona on the grassroots. Jwale re tswetse speaker re a kopa hore ha ntse le buisana ka di allowances na tsa ma councillor le issue ya medical aid ntse sa re khotsofatse le yona re a ikopa hore le shebisise le phano ya matlo housing allowance ke dintho tse re di kopang because package ena e bonahala e le 4%. Kantle ka mane setjhabeng ba tlo nahana hore 4% ena e kena salary hore ke tlo roa mohlomong ke na le 4000 kopo ke na le bokae gati ke 400 rand fela. Ha hona tjhelete e kalo e re fumana. So re tswetse speaker hore ha ntse le ntshetsa dipuisano pele ditafoleng tseo tse di dulang ho tsona le mpe le hopole hore ma councillor a lona ha a patalo jwalo ka maloko ane a parlamente kopo ebile ba patalo le ho feta maloko ane a parlamente hobane ke bona ba sebetsanang le dintho day by day. Ho sa kgethe na rona o le councillor la PR kopo le councillor la ward fela sa bohlokwa ko bano le councillor ke ya leboa speaker.
Ya leboa sena se re fitlisa pheletsong ya diphehisano tabeng ena bo mohlomphehi mane diphoko ba ekga ka Scotland a bana diwati rona re ekga ka teaspoon. No, MMC Tsoledi, I can confirm that nationally there's a council or a committee dealing with the welfare of councillors. Thanks to SALGA, because amongst others, SALGA is saying councillors needs to be better remunerated. it shouldn't be difficult for you to take a member of parliament and make him a ward councillor simply because you know that such a person is a dedicated person. It shouldn't be difficult to take a DG of a national department and make that DG a head of department in a small municipality such as Kopano, because you know that that person is competent, but he can be well remunerated. So those are some of the changes that the country and its leaders are poised with, to look at the restructuring in terms of the welfare of councillors, so that the councillor who lives in Mgungundlov does not have to fear to do his work simply because he does not have a medical aid, or he doesn't have a protection services from the municipality, or he does not have a roof on top of his head. So those are some of the things, and I think with the next local government elections closer, you will see a migration of members of parliament in their majority becoming councillors, simply because that gap is going to be closed in terms of welfare, salary, and even basic conditions of service. This is how it works, because local government is a government very close to the people. You wake up midnight and attend to community inquiry simply because there's a breakdown of electricity. I know that during the past 2 days, councillors were not sleeping. They were constantly making inquiries. When is the turnaround time for the restoration of a burned power station? Ordinarily, that is not something that an ordinary member of parliament can reply to. But you councillors, because you are closer to your communities, it gives you sleepless nights when our people are without services, irrespective of where they live, whether in the suburb or in the township. That concludes our discussions on this item, councillors. May I now see hands of those in favor of the recommendations as contained in the report. Ananga bona matso a batho ba ikamanyang le the recommendations tse ka hara report. Those who are in favor of the report on the adjustment of salaries. Thank you. Those councillors who do not want a salary increase, may you raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I support. You must make arrangement.
That is, those who are against this item, or you vote, those who abstain from voting.
No, Mr. Speaker, the MMC is talking rubbish. I have never called her. I've called her about noise in my ward when she was still a public safety MMC. Don't talk rubbish.
Thank you. Councillors, can you be in order? Those who are against, it's 5. Can I get abstentions? And the rest of you, DA councillors, you are? No. No, councillors, you are being playful. Maybe you are appearing too much on TV. Don't do that. You need to vote. This item is not for noting. Those who are abstaining, okay.
Honorable Speaker, my apologies in advance. I haven't kita hlaya ka re ke teletse ntlo le wena speak. Ke a bona wena motsamaisi wa dipuisano ihle item ena na re se re vote ha ke sheba mo ditokomane tsaka di re this item it's for noting speaker ke batla o understand hore na ke khana ke to vote kae mona na ire I must note the recommendation ka ofela di le tharo ke a note speaker ke kopa fela clarity motsamaisi wa dipuisano. Thank you.
No, it's fine, councillors. The item is noted accordingly with all the recommendations. The entire council supports the recommendations.
Speaker.
Can we then proceed to the next item?
Speaker, before that.
Okay.
Thank you, Speaker. I can raise a point of clarity, Speaker. You clearly, Councillor Charte, are Honorable Councillor Boengimolo, who are nonsense, rubbish. So, like a check out a Nakione Puri Sebedisaniel, or a Kausana Satwa rights as well, or rates as well. Thank you.
Councillor, may you withdraw that unpalatable statement?
Speaker, I humbly withdraw. The rubbish is on the street at the moment, not being picked up. It's not in count.
Thank you, councillors. May we proceed to the next item? Councillor Gog.
Speaker, I just want to ask, even if the item is for noting, that it be minuted that the Freedom Front Plus voted is against the increase.
No. You have corrected me that the item is not for voting, it's for noting. So please, it suffices to say the House knows the report. We are now proceeding to the next item, councillors. No, councillors, please be mindful of time. This is a special meeting. We can't be taking more than 3 hours on 5 or 6 items.
No, Speaker, my point of order is on the chair. You need to withdraw, Speaker. You said when we were correcting you that we were playful. We are not playful. You have accepted that you did not see that the item is for NOT. So when you already said we are playful and we are playing to the Cllr, please withdraw, Speaker, please.
No, councillors, can we proceed to the next item, please?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ke ntse ke sa ba leba ai ba o 13 mo le mo mme Nombulelo Situ a tswang teng. Re thotse monyetla wa hore re ba dumedise tsatsing lena. The purpose of this item, oh,
Just a point of clarity, Honourable Speaker, because it seems that we are jumping around now. I understand that the MC has to present 26.7 as well, but that forms part of the reports of the Executive Mayor. So why is this done now? Because that is 7 of the 7 that's on the list.
No, we have
Just
made a correction that item falls under the items of the speaker because it has got to do with the disciplinary board, and disciplinary board is a council committee.
ke a leboha motsamaisi wa dipuisano. The purpose of this item is for approval of the disciplinary board framework in compliance with the council resolution dated 28 February 2025. The background. On the 28 February 2025, council resolved that administration must develop and submit a formal remuneration framework regulating the compensation of members serving on the disciplinary board. The resolution was aimed at ensuring standardized and equitable remuneration practices, improved financial oversight, transparency in municipal governance processes, cost containment and fiscal discipline. The administration has developed the attached remuneration framework for council consideration and approval. Summary of the framework. The proposed remuneration framework provides the following: standardized sitting fees for the chairperson and members, regulated preparation and calculation fees, travel and subsistence allowance alignment with the approved municipal tariffs, clearly defined appointment criteria and conditions of service, budget control measures and audit compliance requirements, reporting and accountable mechanisms. The framework established clear parameters to ensure consistency, transparency, and financial prudence in compensating members serving on the DC board. Legal and governance framework. The policy supports procedural fairness and aligns with the applicable municipal governance legislations and labor regulation standards. It promotes sound financial management principle, strengthens institutional accountability, and ensures compliance and establishment public sector remuneration practices. Recommendation. Approval. That the council approve the disciplinary committee board remuneration framework. Implementation date. That the framework be implemented retrospectively with effect from 28 February 2025 being the date of the original council resolution. Quarterly reporting. That quarterly implementation and compliance reports be submitted to council to ensure oversight, transparency, and fiscal discipline. Authority of the city manager. That the city manager be authorized to implement the framework and oversee full compliance, including the enforcement of consequence management where necessary. As I pause motsamaisi wa dipuisano, ke a leboha.
Thank you, Chair Tladi. May I now invite members who would want to speak on this item. Councillor Denner. Are you taking instructions then?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm here to address the disciplinary board remunerations framework. While the administration claims this framework is a step forward to improved financial oversight, we must look at the cold hard reality for the residents of Mangaung who are watching us today. Mangaung is currently still on a financial recovery plan. We are a municipality that has historically struggled with expenditure control and governance risks. Yet, focusing every single cent on fixing our crumbling infrastructure and ensuring basic service delivery, we are asked to approve a framework that prioritizes the pockets of a select few. Let's look at the figures. This framework suggests paying a disciplinary board chairperson from outside the public service 10,473 rand per day. Even a regular member is slated to receive 9,171 rand per day. These rates are based on SAICA standards for associate directors and senior managers. Mr. Speaker, Mangaung is a municipality in distress, not a private sector accounting firm. Furthermore, the justification provided for these rates is concerning. The document states that these rates seek to reward members for risks which include life threats and the risk of their lives being threatened due to the nature of the job. If our municipality has become so lawless that serving on a disciplinary board requires danger pay, then we failed in our most basic duty of providing a safe and secure environment for governance. We cannot support this framework that uses the threat of violence as justification for high-tier remuneration. The Freedom Front Plus also takes issue with the additional perks outlined here. Beyond these high daily rates, the framework allows for reimbursement of flights, tollgate fees, and luxury accommodation according to the municipal travel management policy. It even allows for the booking of flights for extremely urgent meetings. This is the definition of a gravy train, Speaker, at a time where our residents are suffering. While we acknowledge the need for skilled and experienced persons to tackle financial misconduct, we cannot ignore that even public servants who are already receiving a salary from the taxpayer are being offered up to 6,900 rand per day just for preparation and meeting attendance. The administration claims this will support cost containment and fiscal discipline. The Freedom Front Plus disagrees. True discipline would be ensuring that disciplinary processes are handled efficiently and at a cost that reflects the financial state of this metro. The Freedom Front Plus cannot support the framework. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Any other hand? Councillor Tsuledi. You are the last.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm standing in support of Councillor Mathae in terms of the presentation that she has presented here. Nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, maybe I just want to highlight to Councillor Denner that the AG has flagged in number of years that this institution lacks consequence management. In order for us to address consequence management, it is important for us to have the DC board. So it cannot be correct that when we are correcting the findings from the AG and also what is contained in the financial recovery plan, then we come here and say, this is not important. This framework cannot be adopted. This framework is more important than any other thing if we would really want to take this institution to another level. Also, this framework, the DC board seeks to address the question of non-accountability. That is also contained in the FRP. So, Honorable Speaker, we are urging this House that for the DC, in order for them to perform effectively and efficiently, it is important that we remunerate them accordingly. And this framework has been benchmarked with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, just to see if these people, these men and women that have been appointed in this August House, are able to perform what we have requested them to perform. I therefore, Speaker, support Councillor Mathae in saying that this House must adopt this framework. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tsuledi. It looks like all your phones are on a calculator. I don't know whether you are calculating the remuneration of the DC board or your upper limits. Thank you. I think that concludes the debate on that item. Because the item is also is for approval. May I now request hands of those who are in favor of the recommendations as contained. No, Chikupa Skala Mumamela because all confused. I tell me never voting. I want hands of those in favor of recommendations contained in the report. Those recommendations want us to approve the remuneration framework for members of the DC board.
Speaker, we batla support item, but ne re kopa clarification because there is a statement. Ish. I don't know what is wrong with this council. There is a statement that says they must be paid retrospectively. Now, on the other side, the condition for payment says they'll only be paid when they have set. Now, we wanted clarity to check whether they have set so that we can be able to say the retrospective part applies. But if they have not set, retrospective part does not apply.
Can you clarify that?
Speaker, Council resolution yadi 28 is a selemo se fetileng. Ha re ne re tla itlisa counseling e ne bolela hore bahlomphehi ba nentse ba seva ka hara committee eo empa fela ba sa patalwe ka tsela eo masepala tlameileng a ba patale ka yona. Ke ka ho AG a ileng a re supa ka monana hore Mangaung etsa se tshwanetseng. Ya leboha.
Okay, Ntate Mokoena.
And with that clarification, Chair, I just also want to confirm that the rates, as Councillor Ndena has said, they relate or they are based on SAICA, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Does it mean all disciplinary board members are SAICA members or not?
I may not know that No, Ntate Mokoena, if you see members of the boards are drawn from different competencies. So it is a combination of various skills and competencies.
I think, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Mokoena, like we said, we benchmarked with SAICA in terms of what they remunerate their members. Remember, as a director, some directors are affiliated into different bodies. There are those that are affiliated to SAICA. There are those that are affiliated to IDIOSA, for example. There are those affiliated to other institutes. So this is the institute that we benchmarked with it in terms of what they are remunerating the directors in their institution.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just as a follow-up, again, Chair, we are all supposed to be making rational and lawful decisions. And if we chose SAICA, there must be a reason why we chose SAICA and not any other professional body that has got different rates. And that brings into the issue of prudence and management of the affairs of the municipality in terms of our financial management. So I'm saying, Councillor Toledi, I can understand that you chose SAICA, but in the report, it doesn't indicate why SAICA and not any other professional body, and not when, do you understand? So that we all can be on the same line as to the rationality of the decision that we are making. Thank you very much.
I take it you want to note that. Okay. Colleagues, may I now implore you to vote? May I see hands of those in favor of the recommendations contained in this report? These recommendations are AG inspired. AG has made a comment about remuneration of this body, and we are simply trying to make a correction. In fact, National Treasury onga photo or permissed. You want to go act or pose. Thank you. Those against? Abstentions? Thank you. Those in favor is 64, against 5, abstentions 2. Recommendations will be carried as they are.
Honourable Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm raising on Rule 13.12 of the Standing Rules and Orders. The Democratic Alliance would like to request that their dissent be recorded as such, as this will be against the Standing Rules of Orders and orders of this House. Thank you, Speaker.
Point of order. Point of order.
Okay.
Speaker, I just want the public must know, because we did agree that we want the disciplinary board must come in from the impact side, that the praise front vote against this item, because the time that they said they vote against for the indigents, there was a big bohai on social media. So the public must know they vote against this DC board. I thank you.
Point of order, Speaker. It's unfortunate that some of the councillors do not understand English and cannot read English with comprehension. This was about the payment. That is what we voted against. Paying somebody 10,000 rand a day. That's what we voted against. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
You want to come again, Councillor?
No.
Oh, Councillor Swula.
No, thank you very much. I just want Prof to withdraw. the language. She can't say that.
Yes.
We read, we don't comprehend. It's not proper. And as black people, there's a disadvantage to us. It's not our language. You know, if we could get documents in vernac, then it would be proper for us to argue. Here I must read and interpret in Sesotho and Setswana. It's very difficult for us black people. Thank you very much.
Agbare speaker, ek is ook nie Engels sprekend nie, maar ek trek dit terug. Dankie.
Dankie.
Point of order, Speaker.
Okay.
Speaker, ek is jammer het om dit vandag in die huis te sit. Jy weet, in die apartheid daar, is jammer om te sê, my mother and my father was a kitchen boy and a kitchen girl. That's why I didn't have that money to go and get my education, finish with degrees. Now they are biting us in council. I thank you.
All right, thank you, colleagues. That brings us to the end of this item. We are now going to proceed to the Executive Mayor's item. Executive Mayor, may I acknowledge you to present your items.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet you as I greet the Deputy Mayor, the Chief Whip, members of the Mayoral Committee, chairpersons of committees, our fellow councillors, the city manager, the CFO, senior management, ladies and gentlemen, but let me also pass my unconditional greetings to the people of Mangaung. Speaker, it is with interest when I sit here and listen to the debate as they unfold. Perhaps let me start with things that impact on our people directly so that when I go into the adjustment budget, would be issues that I would have dealt with. Indeed, recently, Speaker, we experienced power outages. But I must indicate it was not as a result of load shedding, as that is a challenge of the past. And thanks to the Minister of Electricity and the team that is working with, of normalizing things when looters of the time in the form of Guptas and the related accomplices had put us in a crisis that we had to face. Our challenge with regard to electricity, Speaker, speaks to a number of aspects. Key to the challenge is the limited infrastructure that we had to piggyback on it in order to attend to the need of the people of Mangaung. Indeed, an infrastructure that was created to serve but the few. It had to be stretched to attend to other localities where electricity supply could not reach. That goes with a limited resource that could not help the municipality to enhance in order to expand the service. But equally so, that speaks, Speaker, to also a crisis of ailing infrastructure that has reached its age and has to be replaced. We are on course to do so as we are alive to the challenge that's facing us. Coupled with migration of people that in the past were made to live in localities that were far-flung, that as democracy came into being, looters of our land, who used our people as laborers and talking implement, chased them to seek refuge to localities of Mangaung, embellishing therefore the residential existence of our people. That too bear testimony to the weight that is on the current prevalent infrastructure that is within reach. All that congregated together, Speaker, still pose a challenge. Migration of our people in search of greener pastures, limited resource with regard to the current infrastructure, their age, and the challenges of resources that face the municipality remains what we need to bring our heads together as this municipality and work towards ensuring that we serve our people at the level of electrical needs. Safe to say the majority of our people in the metro, indeed with the challenges that we have got access to electricity in their numbers, but more still has to be done. Speaker, the challenge on electricity impact immediately on the provision of water. Our water to reach reservoirs must be pumped in. And for our pump station to be active, electricity must be within reach or it must be available. And once we suffer electrical challenge, so is water going to be affected. With the understanding that water is life, we had to do what we could to make sure that places like Southpan, the northern part of our city, and the small holding as well as the greater portion of our townships do access these services timelessly. For that, I want to thank our fire station for extinguishing the fire that affected our station, and also thank Cllr for, despite the challenges that they are facing with regard to infrastructure, timelessly acting to ensure that we do restore electricity to those critical areas that were affected. It is at this point, Speaker, that I would like to apologize to the people of Mangaung for the challenges they faced with regard to some of the services that I'm alluding to. We will, however, do our best at all material time to reach out to them and to make sure that the services are attended to. I really sympathize for those that are paying their services when they are impacted upon by such, but I would like to encourage the majority of those that are not paying their services from their different walks of lives to come forward and do so with the understanding that, Speaker, that will be helping the municipality to indeed arrive at making sure that we do provide these critical services that are needed. We are not satisfied, despite the fact that we are above 70% of our collection. We are still encouraging those that must come forward to indeed do so. As and when you roam around or walk around the city and found some critical nodal points closed as a result of non-payment of electricity, please understand, that's when the Metro will be doing its best to make sure that we access the resources, kill the culture of the non-payment, and make sure that we become sustainable so that we must provide these key critical services. For us to replace a power station, to deal with pipes that are old or electrical lines that are decaying, the roads that are actually being potholed as a result of the heavy rains that we're experiencing, and all other related services that deals with sanitations. That can all be if our people do come forward and pay their services. It's a clarion call I'm making, Speaker, to our people, to please come forward and pay, and that they should understand that the switch off that we are embarking or we have embarked on is informed. It is meant to kindle and necessitate that our people come forward and pay. Speaker, we have experienced a recent informal settlement challenge. Let's first qualify what gives rise to informal settlement. The truth of the matter, Speaker, is that for time immemorial, from one administration to the other, there has never been a formalized way of recognizing that families are growing. And in most material time, or times, the metro has been led by communities who, out of their niche and need, would illegally occupy an unsurveyed or properly assessed land with an intention to find refuge of accommodation, given the fact that even the RDP house or the mesh box given to them by the apartheid time are indeed full, and people are needing accommodation, starting with filling the yard with shacks and moving outside seeking better and proper accommodation. Unfortunately, lending themselves into wetland, waterlogged, or places that are inhabitable. That has been the order of the day. And that migration, in its happenings, it was not informed by any effort, by any administration for that matter. And that gave rise to date to 72 informal settlement that the metro is experiencing. Some of which were as a result of political interest and popularity, as well as leaders that would emerge imposing themselves on communities, and by way of seeking recognition, occupying the land unlawfully. And that has given rise, Speaker, to a number of wrongdoings, one of which foreigners were then able to reside on our land without having gone the test of time. People who have got residential units and houses across the country could therefore then come and create their shacks at a point when they do have places where they could reside. The metro took an effort to identify the land, to pack it, at some point to even come up with a township establishment despite the limited resources. Moving away from a development that could address the buying power when there's no buying power for sites in this metro. As we speak, Speaker, there are a number of stands and sites that are on the market lying fallow because there's no buying power. Yet so many people are in search of land. Now we need to understand the type of people that we need to accommodate. The first layer of people are those that are beneficiaries from 0 to 3.5 thousand that are qualifying for a full subsidy amount of the RDP house. The next will be those that will be regarded as the missing middle. They can access bond from the bank, but they also cannot access subsidy. Whereas in between, there are those that will get an amount of subsidy not equal to the equal amount, Speaker. Those two we must accommodate. I want to acknowledge that we need to also look at all types of housing typology. Converting buildings into homes, buying old and defunct buildings, which are lying foul and empty in our city, from Transnet, Postnet, and all other parastatals, from provincial government department, and some of the buildings that we could be having as a metro. We also need to look at how we can convert those buildings and accommodate the needy, those students that are in our city that are actually coming here and abused by landlords, some of which are bogus for that matter. We need to address all these things, Speaker. Now, it is at this point when I must indicate that party political interest tend to stand before some of this development. The kind of development that we did come to the council and in a way to sell so that we must be understood was to try and eliminate some of the challenges that we are facing. We must admit, we do not have enough money to do a complete development all at once. But the Housing Act allows in situ development, where you can reside people and on a progression pace, provide services as and when the money is within reach or on your side. We identified those areas, and we then identified true and honest South African citizens and decided that we'll locate them in those areas that are packed and provide rudimentary or temporary services whilst the metro is looking for the money in order for it to be able to accommodate its people. To my dismay, Speaker, there is a dog's fight amongst us as political parties to allow that swift movement to move. But let me show what this movement will address, Speaker. One of the critical things that this movement will address is that those that are taken to those events will have been tested South Africans who are beneficiaries to the land, to the electricity, to the water, and to all the services that must be given there. Meaning, they will be accessible to PTO as they migrate to those areas. And they will be authentic. They will be able to help us isolate them from those that are intruders and are coming from far-flung countries that are in this country and have decided to reside on those lands that are unauthorized. Now, I would really want to appeal that we may be in court and fighting over these things. To councillors and political parties, it is my humble appeal, Speaker, that, with the understanding of a helping in hand amongst each other, that might actually make us to be a better metro of tomorrow than to want to score political wranglings of no consequence and frustrate the communities of Mangaung in the interest of our inherent political interest. Speaker, this takes also into consideration that without water, we can't develop a sound sanitation system that would actually turn all the toilets that are either pit latrines or bucket or even pitfalls or pit holes into better waterborne toilets that we need. We have to put up a big fight to ensure that water is reached at, is restored, and is properly used. For that, we'll do our best. Councillors, I was listening to your debate on the upper limit. Believe me, I am not raising this from a position of being hungry. It must be understood. But I want to raise a matter of principle. And I'm raising this as a matter of principle, having indeed had those debates that the Speaker made reference to at the level of Cllr, national, and at the level of Salga. You are at the face of communities. My apology, I wanted to switch off this and it embarrassed me, Speaker. But I was saying to councillors, you are at the face of communities. You are at the receiving end. You give me sleepless night, whether you are in the ANC, whether you are in the EFF, or even the Freedom Front that does not seem to be impressed to get some coins and cents. all of you combined, you either communicate with me through WhatsApps, through groups, or even direct, raising challenges that you come across on a daily basis with communities, let alone whether we do have resources or not. That in itself, table or put your life in danger, because you need to cushion the anger that's there in communities by way of how ailing or strong our services are. You are the mouthpiece. The provincial government that does its projects, it does not do those projects like a pie in the sky. They happen in your localities. You are the immediate guard to those services that come from the provincial government. So is national government. Anything and everything that they call service, you are the torchbearer of those services. That subject you not only to danger, but also to sleepless night, where you would have to provide answers at all material time. You are critically saving to a point where you must be thanked for what you are doing. But Speaker, let me dare hear a councillor that says, in here, it's a profession that will keep me until he's 65. I'll celebrate that, councillor. If you will be here until you are 65 and get your pension, I'll celebrate you. We are going for election. I can make a very quick example and a reflection, Speaker. Your mic is on, Speaker.
Your time is up.
Yeah. You know, Speaker, I want to make an example with the DA. A very good one for that matter. It's positive. Since I've been in this council, I am failing to know most of the DA members by their name, except Mr. Vivier and Councillor Vivier and Councillor Kotze, the Honorable. And perhaps Mr. Greg, because lately I realize he's the Lorry Park councillors. Most of them I don't know by name. It is not because I don't want to know them. They change from time to time. And that change in itself is an example that I want to say, councillors, you are not here on a permanent basis. You are not here on a permanent basis. Now, your future cannot be crafted on the strength that you are a councillor. But when you are here, your future must be taken care of so that when you are no more here, your future is not oblique. You are able to sustain yourself. I just wanted to throw that as a very glaring example, Speaker. Speaker, before you say my time is up, because you really have disorganized me. Let me get into what I must read to you and get out of trouble, Speaker, and allow you to carry on with your house. Because I'm just a visitor in your house, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to table this adjustment budget, and let me do so. We table this adjustment budget in a period of structural change in local government finance. The 2025-2026 budget was approved by Council on the 29th May 2025 and came into effect on the 1st of July 2025. What we present today is not a deviation from that mandate, but a collaboration informed by implementation realities that National Treasury approvals and the mid-year performance assessment that I table on 29 July 2026. This is a political moment of accountability. We are not only adjusting numbers, we are adjusting the alignment between resources and delivery. Speaker and honorable councillors, the adjustment budget is tabled a day after the national budget statement by the Minister of Finance National. We note the Division of Revenue Bill, which is still before the National Assembly. The realities of trading services reforms has arrived, Speaker. The Urban Settlement Development Grant, as we have historically known it, has been reduced by 66%. And now instrument, the Urban Development Finance Grant, has also been carved out of that allocation. For now, the qualifying services under UDFG are water and sanitation. This is not a technical adjustment. It is signals of shift in national fiscal policy towards the ring-fence, performance-driven trading services. As a Metro Speaker, we must adopt decisively. We have to adapt decisively. Honorable Speaker, at the time of tabling this budget, the city has not yet received the final assessment from National Treasury confirming that with this proposed adjustment, the budget remains unfunded as required by law. Therefore, we are proposing that, Speaker, the city manager and the CFO implement any recommendation issued by National Treasury following its assessment, and that the final adjustment budget incorporating any required corrections be submitted to Council for information. We remain committed, Speaker, to compliance and physical credibility. This adjustment budget has been significantly shaped by approved rollovers from 2024 to 2025 financial year. On 22 October 2025, National Treasury confirmed the following rollovers. USEP was 14.8 million for critical water and sanitations upgrading in Freedom Square, Tabanchu, Moraka and Ratau, Soutpan, Ikhumutseng, Divesdorp, Botshabelo Section R, Mkonto, which is Saliva ERF, PPSG, 5.6 million for pressure and network zone management and proactive leak detection and repairs. These are not abstract allocations. They are directed interventions in dignity, sanitations, and water reliability. In addition, the city has been allocated 162.1 million under the Urban Development Financing Grant. The funding is largely directed towards strengthening our trading services, particularly water and sanitation, which is aligned with business turnout strategy. A turnaround, rather. On Cllr adjustment, Speaker, honorable councillors, the adjustment also incorporates proposals from the board of Cllr, following council resolutions of 30th June 2025, approving tariffs as determined by National Energy Regulator of South Africa. The approval tariffs increase was adjusted from the applied for 13.5% to 12.4%. The results in reduction of approximately 42 million in projected revenue. This was an immediate compliance and adjustment to align with the regulator's determination. On the matter of hillside view electrification, a required 44 million rand could not be accommodated within this adjustment cycle and will be considered in the 2026-2027 MITREF. Honorable Speaker, the city committed 38.1 million under USEP for acquisitions of 132 hectares of land to relocate over 7,000 households from Ward 1, 4, 6, 10, 17, and 46. This is a strategic spatial intervention. It is a long-term settlement planning, not short-term politics. Honorable councillors, this adjustment budget emerges at a time when local government nationally faces tightening physical space and rising service delivery demands. We must demand that Mangaung is capable of the following: protecting its trading services, strengthening revenue management, aligning capital to implementable projects, maintaining a funded and credible budget. The budget has undergone 2 budget steering committee meetings, 2 mayoral committee meetings, and review by the finance committee. It is now rest with this council. We are not merely adjusting figures, Speaker. We are positioning Mangaung to survive and stabilize under a challenging physical architecture. Let us act with responsibility, foresight, and unity of purpose. Speaker, I hereby table the 2025-2026 adjustment budget for consideration and approval. I thank you.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Colleagues, I'm pressed for time. And I can trust Councillor Tona with time. Whilst I relieve myself, I'm going to ask him to chair this session. We will need to go for lunch by 2. I am normally under pressure from environmental health workers who insist that food cannot be prepared from morning until noon without being served. So he will decide at what point do we go for break, but I want to allow him to facilitate the discussions. I really need to relieve myself. Whilst he's chairing, he will be referred to as the chair of the session, and he can chair from where he is. You may take over. Then.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. May I request that we immediately break for lunch.
Yes. When are we coming back? Yes, Speaker, when are we coming back? When are we coming back?
My God. Can we agree around 2:30? Is it reasonable? Thank you very much. We are adjourned.